We are visual artists and wildlife carers. We've been collaborating for 25 years as artists, but in the last 12 months we have officially been a government licensed wildlife shelter here in our little home. I'm Gracia Haby and this is Louise Jennison, and we're here in North Fitzroy in inner Melbourne, visitors on Wurundjeri country. And that's where we look after native Australian wildlife with the view of release, so getting them back out into the wild, returning them to where they should be. We called our shelter Tiny But Wild because we are literally a tiny space and everything here is wild. Our back garden is a space completely for wildlife. It's basically 3 enclosures, 1 large one for our flying foxes and 2 for our ringtail possums, and then a little bit of space that we can shimmy around in to get to them. Good stretch, mate. That's beautiful. Because the flying foxes are in care at the moment, we feed them fruit and then also add a high protein supplement so that they're looked after. And when they're really little, they are actually bottle fed 5 times a day. Good boys. Good boys. To handle any bats, microbats or megabats, you need to be qualified and vaccinated and wear protective gloves and sleeves. Umi and his friends here are grey-headed flying foxes. These guys are megabat and they're endemic to Australia, and they're also, unfortunately, a threatened species. There are long-distance pollinators. So these guys co-evolved with eucalypts and they pollinate all the way up the east coast. So all our forests are completely reliant on these beautiful pollinators. So the eucalypts will often flower at night and open up, and they're beautiful yellow and white and bright pink flowers like this ficifolia. And then the flying foxes slam into it, get the nectar all over themselves, and then fly to the next one and the next one. And they're also at the same time eating the fruit, and they'll be then doing their poos and dropping that. But they can fly like 50 kilometres a night, which is extraordinary, these little guys. So you can just imagine how many seeds they can distribute every single night and how far they can distribute those. And no other animal can do it except our beautiful flying foxes. Like all our native wildlife, these guys are facing lots of different issues, but for the flying foxes in particular, it's deforestation, they're losing habitat, they're losing space, and also the climate emergency. So those extreme hot weather events are a direct threat, but then we're also having floods. It's becoming more and more difficult, so we need to all step up and look after them, because if we lose these guys, we lose our forest pollinators, and then we're in a terrible mess. Even if you've only got a tiny space, like our little urban oasis, we can all plant for wildlife and we can all share our space with wildlife. So make sure you've got canopy and understory, make sure you've got water out for the birds and for the insects, and nesting boxes are fantastic to put up to encourage others to come and live with you. And if you're netting fruit trees in your garden, make sure that you use wildlife-friendly netting, because if you don't, it can be catastrophic for our flying foxes and also the birds. They can get terribly entangled in them, injured awfully, and then they need specialised care from vets like at Melbourne Zoo or Wildlife Victoria, and then end up in care at a place like Tiny But Wild for weeks and weeks and weeks before they can get back into the wild, if indeed they can at all. So this is our outdoor possum enclosure. These are 3 ringtail joeys. Typically we'll have them in care for roughly 6 months. So that's when they come in as tiny little joeys who've been orphaned. So they'll be about 70 grams, whereas now these guys are 400 grams. So they're getting really ready for release. So in here we've got the Robert Gordon grevillea. We've also got a beautiful new growth on their manigum, callistemon, which they love. There's melaleuca, both in flower and the leaves. And we've also got a spray of coastal tea tree. So little ringtail possums are also called pepper shakers, because all of the leaf that they're eating now, they
chew that, they digest that, and they create super little power pellets that fertilise your garden. So in that sense, they can be a fabulous ally in your garden, taking all of the nutrients from the tree straight down into the soil, which is, you know, quicker than it would take for a leaf to decompose and break up into the soil. Ringtail possums often get a bad rap for demolishing gardens, but a lot of the times there are other culprits. It might be rats. Yeah, we encourage people to learn to live with their local wildlife. Well, as well as out the back, the front room is also our designated wildlife room. It is also our studio. And here we have Hans Holbein Younger. He's a little microbat, a Gould's wattled bat. And he was rescued recently in the city. He's a sub-adult, so he can't fly yet, so he must have had a misadventure. He was found on the pavement, and now he is here eating mealworms provided by Louise.
So microbats are different to our megabats, are our beautiful pollinators. Microbats eat all our insects, so they look after the insect populations in our gardens. So if you've got a little group of microbats near you, you're very lucky.
One of the joys of looking after wildlife is that you get to see the world through the eyes of another species, which is just something so glorious.
It's got this little arboreal connection from this tree back into the garden.
When we go for a walk, just looking around at what food trees are available for possums, what they would eat, how big gardens are. I mean, typically a lot of gardens are getting smaller. I mean, there are people who are planting a lot of native vegetation and things, which is fabulous for the possums.
So every day we need to go and get fresh food, which we call browse, for our possums. It's a big part of every day. It's a lot of work because we have to find different things in flower. We have to check with neighbours if it's okay that we can grab a little cutting here and there.
That's critical to give them the right thing, and something like the grevillea would be a special treat for the joeys.
Gracia and I met at art school in the 90s, and we were friends and started exhibiting together, and then we became partners. And then we started to collaborate on some artist books, and then it sort of organically grew into a collaboration that's been going on 25 years later.
We make artist books, which is effectively an artwork in book form. Animals feature heavily in all of our artwork.
They're all completely hand-bound. They're digital collage sometimes.
We also make large-scale installations, and one example is a recent commission from the National Gallery of Victoria for Melbourne Now, in which we made an entire room which was collaged from 100 pieces in the NGV collection that was a forest for the grey-headed flying fox.
Working with wildlife and working with our artwork, reciprocating, it's what gives us hope, because hope's an active thing. Hope is actively choosing kindness. So this is beautiful Walt and Mr. Velveteeny. They came into care as adults and they had urban misadventures. Mr. Velveteeny got caught in a light well and Walt had a bad concussion. But it's their really big day today. They've both got the green light, everything's good to go, they've been vet checked and they're ready to go back into the wild. We're headed to the grey-headed flying fox colony and it's about 5K, a few minutes from where we are at Tiny But Wild. On the banks of the Birrarung, the beautiful Yarra River, here on a tiny bit of restored habitat beside the freeway, nestled in around our urbanness.
Excitingly, Walt and Mr. Velveteeny are going to shake off their human-given names, and now they will probably be called...
Walt might be called... And I think Mr. Velveteeny would probably be like... Yes.
For us, this is like a really glorious moment when we get to return them to where they should be, and it's a beautiful part where it's not about us and what we might feel, and it's just all about them and seeing them go fly back and going from being Walt in a basket to one of many, and it's just they're a beautiful embodiment of how it takes so much time to get them to this point, and it takes a village of people to get them ready, and it's the non-human and the human coming together, and it's a really wonderful feeling.